The doors to the Viridian Tea House are open once more. Hey everybody, it's good to see you again. Colorado is currently in the middle of its spring, which means that one day it's going to be 80 degrees and the next day it's going to be 42. I have not been outside yet, but from what I can tell, it's a beautiful sunny day. It just happens to be really chilly. So this is my second spring in Colorado and I'm slowly getting used to the weather. But it's a perfect day to enjoy a cup of tea with a good book and just turn off your phone and just be idle for 30 minutes or an hour. But I hope you guys are doing well. And without further ado, let's begin. So the first book I actually discovered through Instagram. I love Instagram and the fact that I am able to discover new artists, new writers, book recommendations, all kinds of stuff. And this particular author slash artist really grabbed my attention. I am talking about Jackie Morris, and this particular book, thanks to Arapahoe County Library, is The Unwinding and Other Dreamings. I'm trying to get that glare off, if you can see it. It is kind of a faint cover. This artist, let me just be blunt. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, I cried at some of the illustrations. Not because out of sadness, but because they moved me so much. There were a couple of pictures where I just stared at them and I said, my God, did somebody really create these? It was just, this is the kind of book where you will want to read it at least 20 times. And every time you're going to find something different. And it's just the smallest little thing, but it just means, it would mean so much in the grander scheme of things. So without further ado, let's see. This book is not meant to be read from cover to cover. It is a book for dreamers. Slight of word, rich of image, its purpose is to ease the soul, which I have to admit, reading this book eased my soul greatly. It felt like I was dreaming with my eyes open and like I was meditating as well. So just phenomenal. The paintings between these covers were worked on in the between times, an unwinding of the soul when the pressures of work were too much. Dreams and wishes are the inspiration at times like this. Threaded through the curious world of the unwinding are words, slight and lyrical. Their aim is to set the reader's mind adrift from the troubles of our times into peaceful harbors where imagination can stretch, where quiet reflection can bring peace. The unwinding is designed to be a companion, a talisman to be turned to again and again, and a place of respite from an increasingly frantic and complex world. No kidding. I don't know if any of you are familiar with the work of Jackie Morris, but reading this book, and I'm assuming all of her other books as well, you will want to slow down. You will want to forget that you got kids and you got bills and you're trying to get to work and you're trying to get rest and you're trying to take care of yourself and all these other demands of the world. Opening her books and reading the stories and looking at the illustration, you forget just for a little bit, but it's a nice break. And actually this book comes with instructions. Let's see if I can find them. Oh, here we go. And I don't know if you can see, but these are the instructions for the unwinding, and I'll read them to you. Take one story last thing at night before bed, then tuck the book beneath your pillow. For use in daytime, carry in a pocket or a bag. Extra stories may be taken during times of stress. There is no danger of overdose. Side effects can cause time to escape, bring relaxation to some, encourage dreams in others. Sharing the stories with others does not reduce potency, but can enrich the effects especially when spoken aloud. Can be safely consumed by all ages and is also suitable for cats, dogs, and other creatures. And apparently she lives in Wales. I want to say Jackie Morris, West Wales. Like I said, I cried at looking at some of the illustrations. I have a lot of friends who are artists, and some of their artwork just moves me, and some of it makes me laugh, and some of it makes me angry, and some of it makes me feel sensual. Hers makes me believe in the other world, even more than my own writing or my tea blends or whatever. These stories, they're almost like prose poems. But once you, and the whole directions to read a story at night before you go to bed, I couldn't help it. I read the entire book in one sitting. And I think the next time I read this book, I am going to follow the directions and read a story exactly before I go to bed, like 30 minutes before I go to bed, and place it under my pillow. What was funny was that once I finished reading the book, I gave it to my boyfriend James, and he read it, and he's also an artist and an author, of course, and he thoroughly enjoyed it too. But this is a beautiful, I mean, if the cover alone, I wish this glare wasn't there, but if you can see it, you want to dream more, you want to create more, you want to be alive in this world and know that there is that there are other places where you can go to, where you can dream and you can forget just a little bit. But anyway, I could spend the entire video talking about this book, but Jackie, if you happen to watch this video, because I'm going to tag you on this, I am in love, and you have inspired me to create so many new tea blends. So thank you so much. And because of this wonderful experience, it gets the Viridian Tea House's 5 cups of tea. I'm not even going to repeat myself. Just The Unwinding by Jackie Morris. You need to read it, very much so. And once again, thank you to Arapahoe County Library for having the book. Libraries are cool. So the next book I want to go into, let me just preface by saying this author is one of my guilty pleasures. There are certain authors that I will just devour, which is like 90%. But then there's some of the authors where I devour and I'm like, oh God, I'm reading one of her books. I love it. I just love it. V.C. Andrews is actually one of those guilty pleasures. I have read Flowers in the Attic at least 3 or 4 times. I think I've gotten through the initial series. Ooh, I haven't even finished it. Looks like I might be going to the bookstore soon, but I digress. V.C. Andrews is one of my guilty pleasures. Also, Bobby Nash is one of my guilty pleasures. Barry Reese is another one of my guilty pleasures, which, stay tuned, there's probably going to be one full video of nothing but Barry Reese. So Barry, if you're watching this, your time is coming very soon. And the other author who is a guilty pleasure of mine is Caitlin Macy. And this book, Mrs. I had read only 1 or 2 of her other books, but I fell in love with Caitlin Macy and how she writes. She lives in New York City, so you get the feel of New York through her work. Mrs. was, oh my gosh, I enjoyed it. It was nice to return to Caitlin Macy's version of New York. So I will read the back of it for you. In the well-heeled milieu of New York's Upper East Side, coolly elegant Philippa, I think I said that right, Philippa Lai is the woman no one can stop talking about. Despite a shadowy past, Philippa has somehow married this the upper crust of the last family-held investment bank in the city. And although her wealth and connections put her in the center of this world, she refuses to conform to its gossip-fueled culture. Then into her precariously balanced life come two women. Gwen Hogan, a childhood acquaintance who uncovers an explosive secret about Philippa's single days, and Minnie Curtis, a newcomer whose vast fortune and frank revelations about a penurious upbringing in Spanish Harlem put everyone on alert. When Gwen's husband, an obsessive, heavy-drinking prosecutor in the U.S. Attorney's Office, stumbles onto the connection between Philippa's past, I have to make sure I'm saying this right, Philippa's past and the criminal investigation he is pursuing at all costs, this insulated society is forced to confront the rot at its core and the price it has paid to survive into the new millennium. No shit. I'm just gonna like, no, that barely scratches the tip of the iceberg. It's like the tip of the tip of the tip of the iceberg. But one thing that I do want to point out, I mean, I love how Caitlin Macy gets into her characters' heads and their emotions and what they're seeing, what they're feeling, and how what they're seeing and feeling may not come out when they speak. But one thing that I thought was really cool with Mrs. was that several of the chapters were written in italics, and you don't really know who the narrator is. It's all in third person. But those particular chapters, which are in italics, I read them like the chorus of a Greek tragedy. So it's almost like you're seeing the drama unfold, and you have this character and that character, and mistakes are made, and you're seeing the foreshadowing, and oh my gosh, do they not see what's coming? And then the Greek chorus kind of provides a little bridge between certain sections or certain chapters. So I really did enjoy that. I don't know if that's what she was going for, but that's how I interpreted those particular chapters. The ending was both horrific and horrific. I can't think of another word right now to describe it, but it did not lessen my enjoyment of the book. I truly enjoyed it. It was very nice. It was an interesting change to go from Jackie Morris to, in her dreaming world, to New York City, where everybody has a knife and they're looking for backs to stab. But I did notice that I looked on Goodreads, and a lot of people reviewed this book from like 1 star up to 3. Maybe some did the 4s and 5s, but a lot of people did the lower numbers of stars. And to each their own. I'm never gonna tell somebody, you're gonna be crazy. Did you and I read the same book? I don't think so. Because everybody is gonna interpret a book differently. But for me, Mrs. by Caitlin Macy was fantastic, and it was brutal. It really was brutal to read. I never lived in New York City, but I visited there several times. I know a couple of people from New York City, and I even asked one of my coworkers / friends who's from New York about this book, and she's like, yeah, that sounds about right. So, but yes, Caitlin Macy's Mrs., a joy to read. Ignore the price sticker. It was a joy to read, and I give it Viridian Tea House's 5 cups of tea. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. But yeah, the reason why I gave it a 5, I mean, 1, I enjoy her writing. I enjoy the way she invades her characters' minds. But again, I really like that whole Greek chorus when they tell you their thoughts about this character and that character, specifically Philippa, and how we really, really wanted to like her. We really did. And it's like you can feel the sarcasm, the unintentional or intentional sarcasm, but it was just a delicious guilty pleasure read. So once again, Mrs. Caitlin Macy gets 5 cups of tea from Viridian Tea House. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And you know, it was really nice, you know, it's funny. I think it's almost like serendipity in a way where, you know, I had been trying to locate her books. There's like a whole list of authors that I've forgotten their names, but I'm like, the cover is blue, and I hate being one of those people. But I actually saw this book. I wasn't even planning on buying books, but I saw this book and I was like, oh my gosh, I remember her. So now, because of finding this book, now I can find all of her other books. Hopefully they'll be at the library, but you know what? If not, I don't mind buying books again. I really don't mind at all. So good reads. All right, so let's get into the tea portion. So this particular tea, it is the Blueberry Lavender Bliss. Now there's a story behind this. So this is from Kucha, excuse me, and I first heard about them in Boulder. It was on a Saturday when James and I went up there just to kind of walk around. And if you follow me on Facebook, you probably saw the picture of the Kucha Tea House, and I took a picture of it and I said, I'm almost about to cry. This is so amazing. So this was one of the tea blends that I ended up buying. Well, I have so many tea blends that I didn't get to it immediately, but my boyfriend did. And he said, you know, do you remember that tea that we got in Boulder? And it's blueberry. Oh my God, it's so amazing. And I said, well, okay. That's the tea I'm gonna review for this week's Viridian Tea House. So this is the Kucha Staff Blend, Blueberry Lavender Bliss. The ingredients, let's see, a blend of sweet berry, floral lavender, rich cocoa, and ginger flavors. This tea is a comforting and delightful blend for easy drinking. So once again, this is the Blueberry Lavender Bliss, and drinking it in my Celestial Dragon Cherry Blossom mug. First time trying it. Here we go. I get the bliss, and I get the lavender, and I get the blueberry. This is a damn good cup of tea. You know, I'll tell you something. When I started my own company, Viridian Tea Company, and in dealing with certain herbs, one of the herbs that I used to kind of be not fearful of, but kind of wary about by doing too much was lavender. Because for the longest time, I didn't like lavender. I saw everybody else liking lavender, and I was like, well, I'm going to like something different. I'm going to like jasmine and roses, which are very good, by the way. I can't remember what blend I started it with, probably Endymion, which is one of my top herbal blends. When I brewed it myself, the lavender, it wasn't like I was drinking perfume. Now, it could be because of the lavender that I use, which is from Monterey Bay Spice Company in California. Thanks, guys. But I noticed that it blended and it worked really well with the other ingredients. And with this Blueberry Lavender Bliss, you know, the ingredients here, it's a wild blueberry black tea, lavender, ginger, calendula, or marigold, and cocoa nibs. I'm getting all of it. And the lavender is working well with the other ingredients. It's not overpowering. It's not perfume. This is, like I said, a damn good cup of tea. This is amazing. I will post the link to the website on the YouTube. So if you don't live in Colorado, you can order it from the website, hopefully. I don't know. But once again, this is the Kucha Staff Blend Blueberry Lavender Bliss. Amazing, amazing cup of tea. This is great. And this is it's a soft tea. It rolls well in my mouth. That's what I learned in becoming a tea specialist, like a mouth feel. It's like, it's very comforting to my mouth. It makes, even though it has black tea, and when you think of black tea, you're like, oh, I should be alert and awake and all this kind of stuff. Well, that's just it with tea in terms of the energy level for me. I do drink coffee in the morning, as I've said, and it really feels like my energy goes up and then it just comes right back down. But with tea, black tea, green tea, white, doesn't matter, so long as there's Camellia sinensis in it, my energy level is like this. And it lasts longer too. It's interesting that on Fridays, I work at Crate and Barrel, and that's when we get our truck. Well, since I'm management, sort of management in the merch department, I'm part of the crew that unloads the truck. And whenever I used to get coffee, I would just, slip it down and it would give me the energy just enough so I can unload the truck. But I've gone to drinking tea in the morning, which I kind of have to be careful because of my gastrointestinal disorder. But when I drank my cup of green tea in the morning last Friday, I noticed my energy lasted a lot longer. And I was like, well, I already knew this, so I'm just going to keep doing that. But yeah, once again, Kucha Staff Blend Blueberry Lavender Bliss. And like I said, I will put the website up on the YouTube channel. So this is, we're getting close to the end. Now getting ready to do a little breathing meditation. And for this, it's just going to be a general breathing one. No, actually, you know what? I take that back. Let's do a tea meditation. So prepare your favorite cup of tea in your favorite mug. Doesn't have to, it needs to mean something to you. How about that? And place it in both of your hands. Find a nice comfortable seating position. I would not recommend lying down because hot tea. And take one deep sip. When you take that first sip, just let the tea linger in your mouth for a while. Just see how many flavors you can get out of the tea, and then gently swallow, and then just feel the hot liquid just going down your throat, and see if you can taste any of the ingredients afterward. Like right now, I'm getting the lavender and bare ginger and the blueberry. Second sip, and again, do the mouth feel and the slow swallowing. This makes me just want to relax and to say, for the next hour, just relax. That's how I feel. All right, and the third and final sip. That's just lovely. Absolutely lovely. Well, we are at the end of another video. I know when, but once again, my thanks to Cha for their lovely Blueberry Lavender Bliss tea. And also to the authors, Caitlin Macy and Jackie Morris. So that wraps up another video, and until next week, I say to you, raise your teacup high. Oops, let's try that with the other hand so I don't block my face. Raise your teacup high, treat yourself well, and treat others the same. So I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.